Ambassador Senna pressed her scaled palms against the window, watching the Meridian storm tear their ship apart. Streams of electric gas whipped past the hull in bright purple spirals, each one carrying enough energy to fry their computer systems 3 times over. The emergency signal had been screaming for 2 hours now, but Senna knew the truth that her 5 companions refused to say out loud. No one was coming. The distress call won't get through this interference, Communications Officer Braxton announced from his station, his 4 arms moving frantically across dead controls. Even if it did, what pilot would be crazy enough to fly into this storm? Senna watched another massive bolt of cosmic lightning fork past their window, close enough to make the metal sing. The diplomatic vessel Concordia had been designed for smooth conference rooms and fancy ceremonies, not the chaotic hellscape of the storm's center. They'd taken the shortcut through the outer edge, a routine jump that should have saved them 6 hours on their way to the peace talks. Instead, a solar flare from the storm's central star had triggered the worst electric storm in recorded history. Hull strength down to 67%, reported Engineer Mace, his voice carrying the calm acceptance of his species. At this rate, we have maybe 4 hours before total breakdown. Cultural advisor Ryden looked up from his meditation pose. Perhaps we should prepare for the final journey, record our messages for families. Senna felt the familiar weight of diplomatic responsibility. These beings trusted her to find solutions, even when none existed. She turned on the backup radio one more time, knowing it was pointless, but unable to stop trying. The response came immediately. "This is Independent Rescue Service, Pilot Carmen 774 responding to emergency signal. Concordia, please tell me your exact location and status." Senna stared at the radio panel. Did someone just answer? Braxton's arms froze over his console. That's impossible. The interference should block all signals. The human voice crackled through static, calm, and matter-of-fact. "I've got you on my sensors, Concordia. Looks like you're about 12 kilometers into the storm front. Standard rescue should have you out in 30 minutes. Please tell me how many passengers and if anyone's hurt." "Standard rescue," Senna found her voice. "Pilot Carmen, you cannot possibly fly through this storm. The electric interference." "Yeah, it's pretty thick in here," Carmen agreed, her tone suggesting mild annoyance rather than mortal terror. "I'm reading about 800,000 units of interference, which is rough but manageable. I've seen worse." Ryden leaned forward. "You've seen worse than this? Hurricane season on Titan gets up around 1 million units. Really messes with the shipping schedules." A pause, filled with the sound of Carmen humming what sounded like an ancient Earth song. "Anyway, I'm about 6 kilometers out from your position. Keep your emergency signal active and try not to move around too much. These electric currents can be tricky." Senna watched through the window as space itself seemed to twist and burn around them. Streamers of charged particles moved in impossible patterns, creating a light show that would have been beautiful if it weren't deadly. "Pilot Carmen, with respect, our navigation systems are completely dead. We have no idea how you can even find us, let alone—" "Oh, I'm not using navigation systems," Carmen said cheerfully. "Electronics get fried pretty quick in this stuff. I'm flying by feel mostly." "By feel, sure. You can tell where the worst currents are by how they pull on the ship. Plus, the radiation makes this metallic taste in the back of your mouth when you're getting close to a lightning strike, kind of like licking a battery." Engineer Mace looked physically sick. "She is flying through a cosmic storm by tasting it. Works better than instruments sometimes," Carmen replied, apparently hearing him. "Instruments can lie to you. Your gut never does." Senna exchanged glances with her fellow diplomats. In all their cultures, space rescue was a precise science involving careful calculations, backup safety systems, and teams of specialists. The idea of one person navigating by gut feeling through conditions that would kill most pilots seemed impossible. "I'm picking up your heat signature now," Carmen continued. "Wow, you folks really are deep in the thick of it. Hold tight, I'm coming in." Through the window, Senna caught sight of something that made her question her sanity. A small, angular ship was threading through the storm like it was following an invisible path. Cosmic lightning that could turn asteroids to vapor forked around the vessel, seeming to barely miss it. But as Senna watched more closely, she realized the pilot wasn't dodging the lightning. She was guessing where it would strike, and simply not being there when it happened. "How is she doing that?" whispered cultural advisor Ryden. The rescue ship danced between streams of charged energy, rolling and weaving through three-dimensional space with movements that looked almost lazy. There was no frantic steering, no desperate dodging. The human pilot flew like she was taking a calm stroll through a dangerous neighborhood, aware of the threats, but not particularly worried by them. "Concordia, I'm going to need you to power down all non-essential systems," Carmen instructed. "The electric signature from your engines is attracting some pretty nasty lightning patterns." "All non-essential systems are already offline," Mace reported. "We're running on emergency power only." "Perfect. I'm seeing some really beautiful energy formations on your right side, by the way. You picked a gorgeous spot to break down." Senna felt her jaw drop. "You think this is beautiful?" "Oh yeah. The Meridian storm puts on one hell of a light show when it's angry. I've got clients who pay good money for tour of the outer edge during storm season." Carmen's ship had closed to within a few hundred meters now, staying in perfect position relative to the Concordia, despite the chaotic forces swirling around them. "Most folks are too scared to get close enough to really appreciate it. Most folks have working survival instincts," muttered Communications Officer Braxton. "I'm connecting the rescue cable now," Carmen announced. "This might get a little bumpy while I match our speed and direction." What followed was the strangest docking procedure Senna had ever witnessed. Instead of the careful, computer-assisted approach taught at every military academy, Carmen simply felt her way into position. Her ship moved in response to the storm itself, riding the electric currents like a leaf on a river. When a massive lightning bolt threatened to tear both vessels apart, she didn't fight it. She used the energy to push them exactly where they needed to be. "Docking complete," Carmen reported as the rescue ship settled against their hull with a gentle bump. "Airlock pressure is good. Feel free to come aboard whenever you're ready." Senna led the evacuation, still unable to process what she'd witnessed. The human ship's interior was cramped but functional, with a pilot's chair surrounded by displays showing information Senna couldn't interpret. Carmen herself was a small woman with prematurely gray hair and hands that moved across the controls with casual efficiency. "Welcome aboard," Carmen said without turning around. "Find a seat anywhere. We'll be out of the storm in about 15 minutes. Cultural advisor Ryden strapped himself into a passenger seat. "Pilot Carmen, how long have you been doing rescue work?" "About 12 years, Carmen replied, adjusting something on her control panel. "Started out doing asteroid mining rescues, moved up to storm work when the pay got better." "And how many rescue missions have you completed in conditions like this?" Carmen considered the question while guiding them through a particularly dense cloud of electric gas. "In the Meridian, this is my 43rd, though I think this storm might be a record breaker for intensity." Senna felt her worldview shifting. "You've done this 42 times before, 43, counting today. People keep taking shortcuts through the storm during storm season." Carmen shrugged. "Job security, I guess." Engineer Mace leaned forward. "Do you use some kind of specialized equipment? Enhanced sensors?" "Nah, standard rescue ship. The trick isn't the equipment, it's reading the patterns." Carmen pointed to a display showing chaotic energy readings. "See how the lightning frequency spikes just before a big flare, and the way the energy density shifts when the magnetic field lines reorganize. Once you know what to look for, it's like following a roadmap. You make it sound simple, observed Ambassador Senna. Most things are simple once you understand them, Carmen replied. The universe follows rules, even when it's throwing a tantrum. You just have to pay attention. They emerged from the storm 20 minutes later, sliding from chaos into the blessed emptiness of normal space. Behind them, the Meridian storm continued its violent display, cosmic forces that could reshape solar systems dancing in patterns too vast for most minds to understand. Safe Harbor Station, this is Carmen 774 with 6 passengers from the Concordia, Carmen reported over the radio. Requesting priority docking for diplomatic personnel. Copy that, Carmen. We have berth 12 ready for you. How was the weather in there? Pretty typical for the season, Carmen answered. Maybe a little spicier than usual. Senna found herself staring at the human pilot. During the rescue, Carmen had treated a cosmic storm, forces that could destroy entire fleets, like mildly annoying traffic. She'd navigated by instinct through conditions that would require teams of specialists and months of planning for any other species. And now she was discussing it like a routine commute. Pilot Carmen, Senna said carefully, what you just accomplished. In our cultures, this would be considered impossible. Carmen glanced back with a puzzled expression. Really? Why? The variables alone, electric interference, energy dynamics, gravity pulls. No single individual could calculate solutions fast enough to navigate safely. Oh, I wasn't calculating anything, Carmen said. I was just flying. Communications officer Braxton spoke up. How do you just fly through a cosmic storm? Carmen thought about it while bringing them in for docking. Same way you just walk, I guess. You don't calculate the muscle movements and balance adjustments. You just move and trust your body to figure out the details. But space is not a natural environment for humans, cultural advisor Ryden protested. Maybe not, Carmen agreed. But dangerous places are. They docked at Safe Harbor Station with barely a tremor. Carmen began her post-flight checklist with the same casual efficiency she'd shown throughout the rescue, logging data and shutting down systems like she'd just completed a milk run instead of an impossible mission. Well, folks, that's another satisfied customer, she announced. The station will have you transferred to a proper diplomatic vessel within a few hours. Try to avoid storm season next time if you can help it. As the rescued diplomats gathered their belongings, Senna lingered. Pilot Carmen, may I ask you something? Sure. Do all humans approach dangerous situations with such casual confidence? Carmen paused in her checklist. I guess. When something needs doing, you do it. Worrying about it doesn't make it safer. But you could have died. We all could have died. Sure, Carmen agreed, but we didn't. And now 6 people are alive who wouldn't have been otherwise. Seems like a pretty good trade to me. Senna left the rescue ship with a new understanding of why humans had become the galaxy's preferred emergency responders. It wasn't technology or training. It was the fundamental human ability to look at impossible situations and treat them as just another day at work. As she waited for transport back to the diplomatic corps, Senna drafted her report. But how could she explain to the council that their rescue had been accomplished not through advanced science or careful planning, but by a human who flew through cosmic storms the way others might drive through rain? In the end, she wrote, recommend continued contracts with human rescue services. Their methods remain impossible to understand, but their results speak for themselves. 2 hours later, Carmen received another distress call from the Meridian storm. She finished her coffee, filed her flight plan, and headed back into the storm. Just another day at work.